My worth comes from who God says I am.
There's just something about having to be perfect all the time.
I'll be honest, like, is anyone going to notice me? Is anyone going to care?
It's extremely soul crushing.
They're rude and mean, but they're amazing at this.
So you might have skills, but then you have a deficit with your character. Or
100%.
You might have character, but have a deficit with your skills. So which one are you? Do you have skills or do you have Riz?
Okay, a man, provider, hard worker, protector, and a woman, creator.
I don't know. Does that almost sound privileged to say? Like in today's world, the natural ideal as a woman is to not have to stress about if you're going to make your bills.
And he was like, what I do has nothing to do with who I am. It has nothing to do with my worth or anything.
I didn't know what it was to be a feminine female.
Because for so long you were assuming the role of Adam.
Yeah, and I want the liberty to be able to change my mind.
Period. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Kay.
And I'm Lory.
Lory, you just got back from another Europe trip.
Oh my gosh, yes. Dang, we really have been away for a long time.
I know.
I don't even want to have to describe the beauty. Like, just go look at the pictures and the videos.
Or just go to, make
even
a trip.
Better.
Oh, as you were away, Lory, I was like, Lord, give me one good reason why I shouldn't quit my job right now and go join my best friend.
Did he give you any reasons? Or did you just stay?
I freaking just stayed.
He's like, bills.
But I was tempted. No, for real. We went down the list together. He's like, well.
Phone bill.
No, but
food.
Gas. Dude, gas.
Isn't it like $5 a gallon now?
No, quite literally. Well, I filled up today and it was like $4.30.
Almost $5.
No, basically, if you round up.
And I round up so that I can complain harder. Just so it sounds worse.
Isn't that what everyone does? I'm screaming.
I thought it was just me.
The summer gas is just crazy.
Our car takes diesel, so I think it's actually less.
It's cheaper, yeah.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yikes. Anyway.
Okay, so Europe was amazing.
Oh, yes. It was like, on to the next thing.
I'm dead. Wait, was that your enchanting thing or do you have something else to share with us?
You know what? Let's let that be my enchanting thing. Croatia was incredible. Austria was incredible, but my favorite was Germany. Yeah. I highly recommend anyone that loves just I wouldn't say rolling hills, but like just the endless green and the trees. And then there are mountains. So like we went to the Neuschwanstein Castle, which is the Sleeping Beauty inspired castle.
No way.
Yeah.
That's sick. Also, Sleeping Beauty, such a good movie. And also, do you want to know what's my favorite character?
Who? The fairy?
No, Gaston. He's legit.
Girl, Sleeping Beauty.
Wait, am I thinking of something else?
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, man. That's so embarrassing. Okay, wait, no.
I'm not editing it out.
Sleeping Beauty is not a banger. Never mind. I'm thinking of Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. No, that's France.
Wait, how do you know that?
Because it says in
Bonjour.
Yeah.
Bonjour. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's all coming back to me. Wait, I don't know Sleeping Beauty then.
The one with the dragon, Maleficent.
Okay, her arc as a villain goes hard. So never mind. I like her arc.
Her cheekbones grew on me.
No, literally.
I'll take those. Well, what about your enchanting thing?
Girl. Wait, okay, on trend with the movies. Kai took me to go see Shrek 2, which if anyone knows me knows I die hard for Shrek.
We've
2.
talked about Shrek a few times on the pod.
As we should.
Yeah. Wait, so is it in theaters or
yes,
something?
Okay, yes. So they were doing like reshowings.
Okay.
Yeah, in theaters. And then Kai, he was like, I think he was looking up date ideas. And he was like, oh my gosh, they're re-showing Shrek 2. Like, she loves this. So we went to go see it. And it is fantastic. And again, the fairy godmother. And then, have you seen it?
Yes, of course,
okay,
girl.
And then her son, Prince Charming. You guys, that movie is
so funny.
And the soundtrack, even better. And then when Shrek turns human... Fire!
You're like a little kid right now.
No, literally. And then Donkey turns into a horse. The plot
stallion,
is amazing.
a
Literally.
steed.
And then I will say, oh, and then the dad, his secret. Do you remember?
That he was a frog?
Yes. So he's giving Shrek all this crap.
I Are we actually talking about Shrek 2?
Yes, we are
like,
recapping
in
Shrek
2024.
As we should. I freaking love Shrek.
Like the first time you saw it again.
No, literally, it was so nice, and I loved every bit of it. And again, the soundtrack is fire. But then we went so okay. I want to say we went so late, but not really. We went at 7:45. Isn't that late?
For working professionals, what day was it?
It was a Friday night.
Oh,
Mama was tired, and we went to Chili's before. Chili's is so good.
just vegged out on Chili's.
No, literally, we ate like 2 big things of chips and salsa, and then I got like my pasta.
I would have fallen asleep.
No, okay, that was my point. We literally, as soon as my body hit that recliner, it was over. I was fighting to stay awake, and then Kai, he fell asleep, and I was like, oh, I have to make it worth it for the both of us. I have to stay up. It was still fun.
Wait, did you say he saw it?
Yeah, no, he saw it.
He saw it beforehand?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I got it.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. You kind of skip past like a very important detail.
What?
Well, I think our first episode you mentioned that you were going to quit your job, or like by the time people listen to this, yay, you quit your job.
I thought I already talked about that, but
yeah,
I'm officially out of there.
Like officially.
I'm officially no longer a corporate girly.
You've hung up your corporate jersey?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm liberated.
We love it.
I'm afraid to talk. I'm like, who's gonna listen to this?
What? There's nothing but love.
Yeah, nothing but love.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I don't know.
What? You left on great terms.
No, I did. I just mean like, you know, like
it's for the best.
Like the attitude of like, I've left that crap behind. Like,
amen. Period. What?
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying not to say.
Oh, sorry.
You know what I mean?
Listen, I know every person that has transitioned out of corporate, I feel like feels the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of just like the environment just wasn't for you. At least for right now.
That's the thing is I'm apprehensive about declaring that because I might change my mind.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, and I want the liberty to be able to change my mind. So right now, this is what's needed, and never mind the 2-hour commute a day. Like it was just, bro. There's just something about having to be perfect all the time. I don't know if it's the same with you in your position, but in accounting, like it's like you had to be perfect, and if you make any mistakes, which you're going to, or at least I'm going to, because I am flawed and I make mistakes, like it's the end of the world. And like that kind of pressure for that long, it was just too much, and this is my release valve right now.
No, I feel you, girl. Wait, to your point, the pressure to be perfect or the pressure to perform, bro, it is so debilitating. And then on top of that, okay, this is like kind of corporate America rant or a realization I've been kind of pondering. But when you're promoted, or how you get promoted is you do the most. And then when you're promoted, you're rewarded with more work.
Yeah. And then if you don't get additional pay, it's like, what the heck? Because that happens a lot. A lot.
And then people, I'm sorry, this is our norm. Like, I'm like, wait, so you're telling me it never gets easier?
Yeah.
It just never gets easier.
But if you get the promotion, like that's actually pretty impressive, because my experience has been that you chase a promotion for years. Yeah. Maybe not my exact experience. Like I take that back. It's not my experience, but like most of what I've seen from friends and whatever, is that you chase the promotion by doing the work. Yes. And then you still don't get the promotion. You're not getting the additional pay. And then if you get the promotion, then awesome. But it's not always what it's what you think. Corporate isn't always what it cracks up to be. Like, it's literally. It's a lot of chasing the carrot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just not, I don't know how people look at that and say like, yes, sign me up. I don't get it.
The stability.
Of what?
The pay.
But that's not even stable. Companies, you're here today and could be gone tomorrow. I mean, look what Tesla just did.
I don't know what Tesla just did.
Current event.
I'm not doing anything that's going to add pressure.
I'm screaming. Well, okay, Tesla laid off a bunch of its employees, which
oh no,
I know it's very sad, but
I would love to work for Tesla,
right?
Like an accountant for Tesla.
Yeah, Kai he used to do like data analytics for them. Anyway, so
bougie,
right? They just laid off a bunch of their employees, which is super sad. However, it's really common, big corporations, whatever. But what made it extra sad was these employees had tenure. So they were employees that were there like 5 to 10 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
So they got rid of like those middle section employees, because if you think about it, they could just fire this employee who's making, let's say, 80K, and then get a new person and start them at 50. I'm just throwing out numbers, but you know what I mean?
So they were trying to reset the income or
basically
the pay.
Yeah, because they can.
Their expenses.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I hate that.
I know, it makes me sad. But that's my point. Like like people, like a Tesla employee, blood, sweat, and tears, 5 years, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
For what? For literally what? Bro, it's rough out here.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so not to be a stamper.
But yeah, like
I'm just expressing.
I'm glad that you're elaborating more on this, because like I don't want to complain about quitting my job. I don't want it to seem like I'm just like, oh, boo-hoo, couldn't handle the stress. But it was a lot of stress, because that was like the everyday mood or feeling of going into work is like, am I, like, with the turn of the year, it's May now, but whenever I made this decision, it was the turn of the year, and seeing like, okay, there aren't going to be any inflation increases. We're not going to get the bonus structures that we were supposed to get last year because of the economy, and just because it's corporate. And also, like, do you think that the highest people, like the highest ranking people in the company, took a pay cut? No, they did not. Like, it's just
their salaries always.
Yes, exactly.
100%.
So it's like it's extremely soul crushing, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it is hard. I don't know. I think I brought this up previously, but I personally don't understand working a corporate job unless a job is a job, and girls gotta eat. Mm-hmm. So it's good for the right now. Just kind of what you were speaking to, like it offers stability for sure. Just like in the meantime, in between time, when you're either chasing a passion or, being an entrepreneur. And until that is lifted off the ground, I think a stable corporate job is amazing. But then people that are passionate about corporate, I think you fall in those two camps.
Yeah.
Either you're passionate about corporate and you have a clear vision and direction of where you want your career to go, or you're just treating it like a job. So it's either you have a career or a job.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you and I with corporate is just a job.
We're just the other category of people, because there are definitely like half of people are just, they fall right into that culture and they just stick. Like they're good for it.
And you see the twinkle in their eye, and I'm like, what has possessed you?
Well, it's like a different kind of brain or something.
No, literally.
I think that you and I have a lot more of the creative side 100%. To us. So that's why, because like, it's just so interesting, because my whole life I've always been like split down the middle of analytical versus creative. And like, remember,
you are very balanced.
I am, but also it's a weird thing to explain. Like, it's a really weird, it's just a hard thing to have to live with, because they like fight each other. Like my analytical side and my creative side, they don't like each other. You know what I mean? So like, for example, how that translated is like with my art, I used to only do like black and white pencil drawings and like that classic art style.
Yeah.
And then whenever you showed me something that was more of like a fun, whimsical, like illustrative style.
I remember. I was like, it was one of those like faceless character drawings. That was like trending.
Fashion illustration.
Yeah. And I showed Lory and I was like, can you do like a drawing for me like this? Like, I just love this style. Could you do something like this for me? And she was like, this is not art.
Dude, I hated it. I hated it when you showed it.
I remember. I was like, damn.
I was like, what the heck is this crap? Like, did a kid draw this?
She's like, people are paying for this. And I'm like, yeah. And people pay a lot
of money.
Yeah, this girl's Instagram account, I wish, Caroline something. I'll shout her out because, artists support artists.
Yeah, true. Support this artist.
Amen. But support Lory. Art by Lory Stevens?
Yep.
Period. Anyway, so I showed her Instagram account and she has like a ton of followers. That's her business. And she does like wedding stuff. Anyway, so I showed her and Lory was like, are you kidding me? People are paying for this, blah, blah, blah. And it's true. Like the common, the common person, a person that doesn't have that gift. Heck yeah, you're going to pay for it. because it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is creative. Like,
it is.
It's like, I feel like it's definitely more creative than just like being able to be a master craftsman and just draw something like perfectly as it is. Like, you have to like think differently and like maybe idealize things or see things as they've never been seen before. Yeah. And that takes vision.
100%. And what's funny about that style of art, like the faceless drawing or whatever, it's so cute. And it's also, I remember when you drew me, I was like, oh my gosh, it looks exactly like me, but it's faceless. Like, how does that make sense? Like, our brain, that's probably called something. Like, it fills in the blanks. So it's just funny how our brain does that and how it's attracted to something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it's like just tough because I'm having right now to learn to lean more into my creative side because I want to, but like, even having not worked for the past like month or almost month now, I do see myself like kind of becoming a different person because I don't have to tap into that analytical, like trust but verify side of my brain every single day. Like, because that does shove the creativity down. And now I'm like, especially after going to Europe and seeing all the art and seeing the landscapes.
Were you
like,
inspired?
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like, but it's just, yeah. So like, you could either be on that side of things or you could be on the other side of things. And if you are like, I feel like if you're in one of those spectrums, like, I feel like that's ideal because then you could just be like artsy fartsy, or you could be like analytical Alan that just has the answers and is able to like, you know, be a rock star in the corporate world. But whenever you're split down the middle, like, dude, there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you.
That's where I was at. Like, it was just such a hard thing to suppress the creativity and like.
Yeah. Wait, did you, because they both come so naturally? Like,
well, that's what I'm saying is like, I don't feel like they came so naturally. Like,
really?
Yeah. Like, if this side is artsy, if this side is analytical, and if you're split down the middle, it's always like a struggle to try to be on this side or to try to be on this side. You're not just like naturally there. Does that make sense?
So so you're not split down the middle?
No, I am split down the middle.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But do you think, since you're naturally good at both, that one fuels your soul and one like sucks your soul, but you just happen to be good at both? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. And the creativity, it does like rejuvenate me.
Yeah.
And the analytical side like kills me because that's the side that's like, you need to be perfect. You need to be like everything. That's the side of me that's like, that catered to the art style of like,
yes.
What is
it like bled into your style of art with the black and white?
Yeah, the black and white and I swear I'm like dumber now. What is the word? The
girl, do not look at me. I don't know the word. If you don't know the word, I don't know the word.
Realistic, like like hyper realism. Like that was my art style, was realism. Like drawing everything as close to what the photo looked like as possible. And so that's why like, yes, doing art is art. Like art is art.
Yeah. Period.
If you're creating it, but the way I did it, it was so analytical that it almost wasn't art because there was no creativity. So like that analytical side was like sucking the joy out of the creative side.
I feel that.
I don't know. I'm a mess.
So, I'm a mess. No, you're not. Wait, that's so interesting because I think what you just describes your kind of art style now, or what you have been dabbling in. Like you do portraits, but then you'll do like watercolor splashes on it instead of doing just a black and white portrait. So
like little mess there.
Yes,
the mess makes it beautiful.
Yeah, that's cool. I see like your art. Like, okay, Lory, one day your art will be in a gallery, right? And people will
hope so.
Period.
I don't know.
And people will walk in and there'll be early portraits of Lory Stevens. Then it'll be black and white, and then it'll be like the faceless characters. And then it'll be like what you're doing now, and then what you do for the rest of your life. That's so cool to already see like your different
timeline,
your eras, if you will.
Oh, I like that.
No, literally. Yeah. Like I was like, oh my gosh, sorry, my headphones just like buzzed in my ear. It keeps doing that. But Like as I got to see you grow in your art, that's what I see like in my head, like a gallery. And it's like changing. I think that's so fun.
I go on my Instagram page and I scroll all the way down and I'm like, oh, this is very different from up here.
Yeah,
and
literally.
Up here, like, it's definitely changing.
That is really cool. Wait, do you get requests to do like realism still?
I think the older people like the realistic stuff. So like people at work that we work
that
with
we know,
dead. They did not like the faceless stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
I get it.
So they would request like black and white and just I don't know, more of an older style.
Yeah,
the classic style. I'll say that.
Yeah, classic is good. That makes sense. Well, fun. Okay, so you're out of work. Not out of work. What am I saying?
I'm not working.
You're not working in corporate. However, like what are your plans? What have you been doing? What's this new chapter about?
I'm like, are we gonna just unpack me right now?
It's a Lory Stevens show. Wait, why does that sound nice?
What?
The Lory Stevens show.
Was I made to be a star?
I think
Lory
so.
Stevens?
The Lory Stevens show. It sounds really good.
All right, let's go with that. Okay, so strangely enough, all right, we've been back from Europe a week and a half, essentially.
Yeah.
And this last week and a half has been really hard to like do anything. Like I don't know. Like I was talking to Brandon about it. I was like, am I just lazy or am I depressed or am I a scrub or like what is going on? Because I feel like I'm doing the least. Like I have been excited to like hit the ground running with doing art and like working out and like doing the podcast and stuff, but it's almost like it just feels unnatural to have so much time and like to self-manage. But I do think I'm gonna get out of that. I need to have some time to figure all of that out.
I think that's normal, especially going from like a super high volume, high demanding career and just such a busy lifestyle.
Yeah.
That taking a rest is like, oh
necessary.
My gosh. Well, yes, necessary, but also so just the complete opposite. So yeah, I mean, you've been doing the same pattern.
Yeah.
Same rhythm, same cadence, and now all of a sudden your cadence has changed. So yeah, that's to be expected. That's how I felt with COVID, at least. Like really? I was not okay.
That's how I feel. I'm like, I'm not okay.
Yeah, I think that's normal.
Yeah. I don't know. No one talks about this, or if anyone has, I haven't heard them. But yeah, I think it feels like having been in a pressure cooker, like just really high, intense pressure. And like, you can't let it go, because if you let it go, like if you don't stay composed and like stick with the rigidity, then you're not going to survive. Like, why would a corporate want you? You know what I mean? Like, they want you to be consistent, kept together, clean, tidy package. Now it's like there's the release valve of like not having that anymore. And so right now I feel like I'm just, if you've ever seen a pressure cooker, like whenever you release that pressure, it just goes,
yeah.
Like right now I feel
steam.
like I'm steaming, like I'm in that.
I'm steaming.
And like once that's all gone, then I can figure out what it's going to look like. But it's also just really weird because like I realized that I have a huge problem with my femininity, or just like knowing what the heck that even means.
Yeah.
So I'm a very self-reflective person. Like we both are. That's why we're such good friends. And so with the turn of the year and stuff, I'm like, what do I need to work on? Like what's going to be different about this year? And dude, it's like God just like gives it to you.
Yeah.
Like he just puts it in your path. For me, one of those things was I was able to see very clearly that I have a hard time like with just allowing myself to be feminine. And I realized that I am naturally, not naturally, but I have developed a sense of being very masculine. And in a relationship, like I'm married to Brandon and he's a masculine guy, but that's his role. You know what I mean? Like it's his like natural tendencies to want to provide and take care of me. But because I have been more masculine, like having to always make sure that I was working and performing and like getting more money and trying to provide this life that always looked very secure. Like it was taking that off of him. I don't want to say that pressure off of him, but like that privilege, or do you know what I'm trying to say? Like that part of him that should have just been naturally like his.
Yeah, that's like almost his natural assignment.
Yes.
And you took that on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why'd you take that on?
Dude, oh man. So I guess I'm like, how do I tell this story? To the beginning. So I realized that I have from childhood like always felt like I needed to help provide, and like I had to help my mom provide because like my dad got sick whenever we were young, and coincidentally like this was around 2007 2008 when everyone lost their job. So like my dad lost his job, but he also like lost his health pretty bad because he has iritis, and
what is that?
It's like the inflammation of your eyes. Yeah, like you can go blind from it, which right now, like all these years later, he is going blind from this. Yeah. But it started way back then whenever I was a kid. Jeez. And he also has ankylosing spondylosis. It's hard to say. It's a mouthful. Which is basically like your spine starts fusing together.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So if you see him, that's why his back is like this. So it literally shrinks you because like if you see a healthy spine, there's like
space.
There's the bones, and then like there's like cartilage in between, and that like kind of cushions it. But with ankylosing spondylosis, it fuses them together, and those were like the two big things. But he had a bunch of other stuff. He has arthritis as well. Whatever. This poor guy, my poor father.
Yeah.
So my mom and I, like, we really had to step into that role of providing, because like he couldn't work. He couldn't even leave the room. Like light from natural sun. Yeah. He had to stay like completely sequestered in a dark room. And I don't know how long this went on, but it was a long time, dude.
That's so
like
sad.
For years.
Yeah.
And so my mom and I, like, we had to step up, and like we had to like start making a living. And so she actually, this is fun fact, this is where my love of thrifting comes from. But
Period.
We would like go to thrift stores and we would buy like furniture or whatever. And then we did thrifting before it was cool, dude.
Yeah. And you didn't do thrifting because it was a trend.
I did it because it was necessary.
Yeah, you needed to.
And this was like when I was 9 and 10. And so this is like pre 2007. Like it got really bad then because then we were just scared, but this started beforehand. And so it's like fun and all whenever you're a kid, like, cause it started off with me just wanting to spend time with my mom and going with her to the thrift store. But then as time progressed, it became like, this isn't fun. Like you don't get a chance to not go. Like you have to help. And so,
that's what you were telling yourself?
No, like even my mom would tell me like, I needed to help. And so, yeah, it just became a job. And so then like all of a sudden I'm no longer like 9, I'm in middle school, and like what middle schooler wants to do this and like go to thrift stores? Like that's embarrassing to like help provide. I don't want to like that's just the facts of what happened, and that's okay. And but that was a very hard thing to have to take on as a kid, like to have to say like, oh my gosh, like where are we at right now in sales? Have we met our quota of $2,000 so that we can make our mortgage and utility bills and whatever else? And if it wasn't that, like from a young age, I was already thinking of those things. Yeah. So it instilled in me this like necessity to always be financially secure. Yeah. And to like no longer just like no longer be a child. Like I'm going to step into the role of provider. I see. And so my brain just like, it has always been in that gear ever since then.
How did you, or when you said like you helped your mom with like the business side, did she have like her own business, or were you like selling clothes and thrifting?
No, she had like an eBay store. Okay, and then also like Craigslist back then whenever people did Craigslist. Wait, that's sick. Yeah, because there was no Facebook Marketplace back then. So it was mostly like eBay store.
Yeah. So would she just like resell items?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I needed that blank because I was like, wait, what? I'm like connecting the dots.
Oh, sorry
No,
if I
that's
didn't
good.
explain that
No,
well.
that's
but
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, that's super
So
cool.
thrifting and reselling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
I mean, I
Sorry.
guess so.
I just needed context.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Fast forward to now, I'm realizing that I don't want that to be my story anymore. I don't want that pressure on me anymore to say, like, I have to pull my own weight. I have to be as less of a burden as I could possibly be.
And that carried into your romantic relationships too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know I've talked about it before, but like my other romantic relationships, like I was the one that would work and like put them through school, and then like they could just stay home and work on their education that I paid for, and like that's all they had to focus on, while I was also in school full time trying to get my bachelor's for accounting, and then but working full time, more than full time.
Lory, that is crazy.
You're telling me.
Like
so,
that's crazy.
And that was my 20, 21, 22, 23-year-old self. But dude, like I bore that well. Like I bore that burden very, very well because I had always been used to that kind of pressure. So like back then I didn't give them crap about it.
You weren't asked. You just assumed the position of that role.
Mm-hmm. But it was because I like always felt like that was my place. Like I had to contribute. Like I had to take that pressure off of someone else, and I would rather assume it upon me so that I would not be the burden. Like it felt like I was like, hey, if we can get married and be in this relationship, and if you can be happy, like I know that you have your crap, and like, you know, being in your early 20s and going through school is hard, but if you can be happy with me in a marriage, I will take as much of the burden and the load off of you as possible, and I'll take that and I'll assume that. But like I wanted to know that I guess just like my place was secure by like earning it almost.
Yeah. Did you think you got that from watching your mom too?
From watching my mom.
Because she assumed that role too?
Yeah, because like that was I didn't know what it was to be a feminine female, I guess. Like I think that most people learn, like most women learn what their place is by their mom. Like, and it's tough because I think that today's world, like there are a lot of women that have to work, and like,
of course,
you know, so not to say that I had it worse than anyone, but I do feel like the natural ideal way of being as a woman is to not have to stress about if you're going to make your bills.
I agree.
I don't know. Does that almost sound privileged to say, like in today's world? But
I think so. Like you said, everyone's situation is different. Like if you're a single mom or even just a single working adult, of course, you know, girls gotta eat. You gotta, you know, pay bills and stuff. But I don't know. My mind goes back to the garden. Like Adam was instructed when he was created to name all the animals. Like that was his first job. Whereas when Eve arrived on the scene, her role was when God created both of them, and his instruction is, oh my gosh, I'm messing up my words. His instruction to both of them was be fruitful and multiply. So what that tells me is, okay, a man, provider, hard worker, like protector, and a woman, creator, like partnering in creating with God, the creator.
Right.
So, and also we create in us, like through having children and creating a home. Like, and so I think it's also funny with your transition and feeling like, oh gosh, kind of more anxious because for so long you were assuming the role of Adam, if you will.
Yeah.
And so now you're transitioning back into your natural role, and it just feels weird. It's almost like putting on like a jacket that doesn't fit.
For sure.
Or that you were wearing an oversized jacket for so long and now you're putting on one that fits right.
Yeah.
But it just feels weird.
Yeah. And then once you take that off, you're like, whoa, like I'm naked, or I feel weird. Like this it doesn't feel right anymore.
Yeah.
But dude, I like that you brought that up, like with having children and stuff, because like that's why we started this journey.
Yeah.
Because like I am
pregnant.
Dude, but no, speak it over me. Speak it over me because like,
wait, what do you mean speak it over you?
Because so I'm 28 now, and then Brandon is 29. He's gonna be 30. Like, I'm not saying we're behind, but what our goal is to have a family.
Yeah.
And girl, like right now, like my problems within me is that I am afraid to have children.
Yeah.
Like I am afraid to, like, think about it. Whenever you have a child, you have to be dependent on someone else. So you have to be dependent on doctors, and like you have to pay doctors, and you have to be dependent on a helpmeet, hopefully a spouse that can help you raise a child. You have to have a village. I mean, it takes a village to have a child.
It really does.
Ideally.
Yeah.
You can do it without, but like the point of healing is that you can have an ideal life. Like I'm not trying to rough it anymore. Like my whole life has been trying to scrap by. Like now I'm like, what is the healthy image of a life? Because that's what I want to pass down to my kids. Like I want that for myself, of course. And I deserve it. You deserve it. We all deserve to build a beautiful life for ourselves, even though we weren't necessarily born into that life. Yes. So I'm trying to build the ideal life for myself, but it's going to take work.
100%.
Yeah.
And unlearning.
Yes. Unlearning
that's why Lory, it all connects. That's why you're feeling
exactly.
So like, the pressure.
Yeah. Like how can I have a baby? Like whenever I feel like, no, I need to be out there working. I have to be out there hustling. I have to be constantly, like, I have to be the breadwinner.
Yeah. What would you say if someone watching this was like, no, that's wrong. Like, you can have it both ways.
If you're Superwoman, then I applaud you. Like, if you are a woman that can do all of that, then awesome. Like, I'm not here to point fingers and say, like nah, girl, like, like honestly, like I am a girl's girl. Like if you can do all of that, then I just feel like you're Superwoman. Like I'm just looking at my life and I can't do it. Like this is my problem. Like my problem is that I do not feel like I can have a baby. Like I am terrified of having a child. Yeah. And I've always been that way. Like ever since I was a kid, I would think like, oh, whenever I'm in my 20s, I'll want a child. And then whenever I was in my 20, I was like, oh, when I'm 25, I'll want a kid. And then now that I'm 28, I'm like, maybe when I'm 30. But like I'm seeing that it doesn't just with getting older, it doesn't make you like magically more ready. Like, oh, now I can bear a child. Like it scares the crap out of me to have a kid, to get pregnant, to like be in that place, to be like, I can now say that I am ready to have a child. But I know that stems like just from my own personal work. This is not everyone. So from my own personal journey, I have learned to pinpoint where it came from. And it came from childhood of feeling like, no, you have to keep this burden. Yeah.
No, that makes complete sense.
Yeah. So I don't know how to be feminine essentially. So I'm trying to learn that. And it was actually, I just had therapy a couple days ago. Did I say I'm back in counseling?
Wait, did you send me a voice text about this?
Maybe.
Okay.
I can't remember, but probably.
I did not listen to the whole thing. And I'm realizing that I stopped right there when you were like, oh, I'm back in counseling. I had my appointment. I'm pretty sure that was you.
I did.
Someone must have called me. And I completely forgot to listen to the rest. So after this, I will listen to
my messages have been empty from Kaylin lately. She is not. Ever since
I've been
her
MIA.
I'm like, Kaylin, who? Like, do we still do we still have a relationship?
Oh, stop. You were also world away.
But not kid.
I'm dead. Okay.
Anyway,
you were in counseling?
Yeah, so I was in counseling, and my therapist recommended to me that with quitting my job, an exercise for me to do now at home is to do nothing. Like literally do nothing. So because she's like, okay, so what do you do when you're at home? And I'm like, oh, organize the laundry. I put my winter clothes away. I blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, okay, so what we don't want to get hung up on is being task oriented or like goals or like accomplishment oriented. Like because for me, my worth comes on like accomplishments and like being able to contribute. And like, that's where I find my worth is like, you know, like, oh, well, I did X, Y, and Z and I bring A, B, and C to the table. Of course, that's why I'm valuable. But that's not the healthy way to look at things. Like, you should be able to, like, you're valuable. Being valuable does not equal what you contribute.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I need to work on is just to do nothing. Like, and if that's just reading a book
just being
all day. Yeah, exactly. Just being.
Bro, I remember around the time where we had our episode where it's like don't date a broke man or whatever around that time.
Yeah. I still stand by that.
I'm screaming. So controversial. Anyway,
it's my hot take.
Kai and we were talking, and I remember when we were just acquaintances and just friends, whatever. I asked him one time and I was like, oh, what do you do for work? It's such a common question. Everyone asks that.
Yeah.
And he's like, ask me a better question. And I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And he was like, why do you want to know that? I'm like, I just want to know what you do. Like, I just want to know, like, you know. And he was like, what I do has nothing to do with who I am. Like, it has nothing to do with my worth or anything. And it's so true. Like, it's just how you pay bills. But I do feel like our society attaches, it's very American too. Like, it attaches who you are to what you do and for a job. Even, it's so crazy, like, even having a title in front of your name. I was talking about this with my coworker today, actually, but like Dr. Stevens. That's not your name. Why are we putting a title in front of your name? Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah.
Like your occupation and then
now becomes your name.
Yeah. Or even a degree. I'm not saying that those things are bad. I'm just saying, like, our society is so
accomplishment oriented.
Yes, like what you were saying. What are you doing to contribute? What are you doing to contribute? What are you doing to perform? It's just so exhausting.
Yeah.
With that, you know what I mean?
And then I think about the people that don't have degrees, that don't have credentials, you know, like we both have degrees and we both have like certifications and whatever. Like, so I just think about the people that are like, oh, they don't have the ability to attach like a certificate to their name or to their LinkedIn or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like that must be so hard psychologically
for sure
living in this society.
Yeah. And even like, I mean, I'm in HR and I help assist with recruiting and stuff. And I'll look at resumes and I'll even catch myself because I'll immediately be like, okay, what degree does this person have? Oh, they don't have a degree? Next. Yeah. And I'm we attach value, a salary, a number, figure to a person's worth. And, you know, experience is just as important than a degree. But if you have a degree and then some, like, we attach value, literal amount value to that.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
It actually reminds me of that podcast that you sent to me this week where he said, man, I'm going to botch it. But basically, like,
is it the SMART thing?
Yeah. Well, like, experience, like, self-esteem comes from credibility, or what is the word?
Like,
I swear I'm getting dumber.
Well, his example was allowing your kids to kind of figure it out, and once they're allowed to make their own decisions and be more autonomous.
Competence increases confidence, basically.
Yes.
It wasn't that, but essentially
that's fire, though. Put that on a t-shirt.
Oh, Lory Stevens. That's not what he said, but I know that he said just something about competence. It increases your self-esteem. And if you want to raise healthy kids, then you can't do everything for them. Yes. You have to let them struggle, because the struggle is what helps build competence. Yeah. So, I mean, it is hard because, like, we do want competent people. Like, you know, like, I want someone with a degree that
I see what you're saying.
Perform the best of their class if I need a brain surgery.
Of course.
But to do.
I know what you mean.
It's hard living in a physical world.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it really is. Of course, yeah. Yeah, it's both. It's gray.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having skills and having, degrees. Oh my gosh, so good. That's why people go to college and, whatever. But when that's like the only thing that you value about someone, I feel like that's where it becomes problematic. Yes. Or they attach their self-worth to that. And like, just like the Tesla example, if that's gone today or tomorrow, then no wonder people go into such a deep depression about that, or are in that space of feeling like untethered to something.
For sure. So I guess that's like growing yourself physically. Like it says Jesus grew in stature and with his standing in with men, and like, so basically like physically, socially, and spiritually.
Yes.
Like, there's a difference between growing in your status with men, which is a great thing. Like if you can become more social and like grow that like social muscle, or like the like being more educated, like that's a very worthwhile accomplishment. But also like there's the spiritual side, like in your spirit is intrinsically valuable. And I think like for so many of us, we completely forget about that side of things. 100%. And we only focus on, do I have friends? Do I have accomplishments? Do I have a glowing resume? Whatever. And whenever you're trained like from a young age to say like, oh, I am never gonna not be achieving, like that's where my worth comes, you very easily forget that that's not where your value lies.
100%. Dude, you nailed it.
So
100%.
That's okay. I didn't want to thank you.
No, that was beautiful. It's not about what you produce. It's about who you become, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're becoming.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I am being.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like just letting yourself be.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's for me, it's weird. Like maybe some people like you're like, yeah. But for me,
I'm like, saying
that's
like
weird.
No,
like,
I am right there with you.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been going through something similar with not dancing anymore. Because my self-worth, oh my gosh. I mean, I know my self-worth comes from, again, just being, especially with my relationship with God. And I met God right at the middle of my dance career.
Yeah.
So that definitely helped my transition. And I was like, oh, my worth comes from who God says I am.
I think
from
that you
else.
have a really strong sense of that.
Thank you. Sometimes I don't feel like it.
Really?
Yeah, because sometimes I fall for the trap of also like, again, dance was the first thing I was naturally good at. And the first thing I got noticed for. I'll never forget when that dance teacher, I was 10 years old or whatever, and I was in like this after school dance program. It was not good, but whatever. My mom forgot to pick me up or something, or was running late. So I went, and then I did the dance, and then the dance teacher like pulled my mom aside and was like, you need to get this girl in dance. Like she's amazing. Like you have to sign her up for a studio now. And that was the first time I've ever got noticed. So now like kind of stepping out of the role of dancer, I'm like, dang, I'll be honest, like, is anyone going to notice me? Is anyone going to care?
That is so interesting. So, okay, there must be like divided if you first got noticed because of an accomplishment, or you first got noticed because of like who you were, like because of your personality, because you were funny, because you were like just that kid that was cute, or like just whatever, you know what I mean?
That's true.
I'm forming a hypothesis. Like, do you think that those people that were first noticed for like their social abilities, or like that they stood out because of who they were, do you think that they have more of like a sense of self-worth? But
100%. I think so.
But do you think that you were that person that first got noticed because of your dance?
I think so, personally, yeah.
Okay.
I think it was dance, and then later in life, I think it was my looks, if I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
And then I think about people like my sister, who's just naturally good at everything. But for her in middle school, she was known as the funny one. She was known as the smart one. She's known as, everyone knows Kim, like who she was. And yes, she was good at everything, but everyone was drawn to her because
of who she was,
of her character, and who she was as a person. And she did not struggle as much as I did with identity and self-worth. Like, she knew from a very young age who she was.
Dude, that's so crazy. Because I always think, like, okay, if I want my kids to be happy and to have friends and to, like, be renowned eventually in life, I got to put them in dance and sports and, like, you know, make sure that they're really good at mathematics and, you know, whatever it is that can become their niche. Like, that's what I got to do so that it can build their self-esteem. And it's true, like, maybe
for sure
that will, but I feel like, well, I don't know. What do you think? It's more idealistic to have them gain that sense of self-worth from their personality?
I think
versus an accomplishment. But not everyone just has that, like, charismatic personality.
I think it just depends on the kid, but also always, I think sports are great, and just having an activity is great for discipline and responsibility for sure. But also, I feel like you see a lot of the time, oh, he's such a great athlete, but he's like a horrible person, or a very arrogant. That's what I'm trying to say. Or you see girls too, like, oh, well, or they use that excuse, like, oh, they're rude and mean, but you know, they're amazing at this. Like, you see that in corporate too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. No, I get you. So you might have skills, but then you have a deficit with your character.
100%.
Character, but have a deficit with your skills. So which one are you? Do you have skills or do you have Riz?
Period. I want that Riz.
I know. I want that Riz.
I feel like the Riz came later in life.
Yeah. I think that we both were first praised for our accomplishments and whatever. So, I mean, you're doing great with, like,
you're doing amazing,
spirituality
sweetie.
and stuff. Oh, I'm trying so hard.
No, you are.
But for me, I'm now, like, I'm just discovering this side of, like, like what it is to be spiritually well. You know what I mean? Like, for my soul. You know?
Yeah. No, it's so funny how we all go through things at different times. Like, I was telling my therapist, or she was telling me, or I don't know, again, with the transition of not dancing anymore, I have, like, body image struggles and, you know, my thoughts and trying to find a new routine. And oh my gosh, what the heck am I passionate about now? And I looked at her, I was like, I feel like a teenager. And she was like, well, in many ways you are. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? She's like, no, your self-discovery that you do in your teens and early 20s, you are now going through because you attached yourself to one thing. Like, oh, I'm Kaylin, the dancer. And this is just what I do. And this is what I'm known for and recognized. So now that I'm being stripped of that, and it's okay, but now I'm like, man, I feel like a teenager trying to figure out not who I am, but kind of
like what your place is in the world.
Yeah, what's my purpose? But, like, bigger than just a job, bigger than just a career. It's like, how can I help people?
Like, where do people see your value?
Not even that. Just, like, what makes myself tick and, like, what's my mission in life.
That makes sense.
You know? I feel like so much of my life was just performing for other people. And now I get to just to do it for myself. Or become who I want to become.
Dang.
Does that make sense?
No, it does. I understand.
I'm just, like, rattling on.
I do understand. Hopefully you didn't just see my feet.
Lory has a phobia of her own feet. Oh, man.
I just cannot sit normal. I have to sit on my feet.
No, same. But my posture's
I know. I'm hoping we're not spooking anyone with our posture. But I want to ask, do you have any hunches of where that might go?
Girl, I'm like, is this our first 2-hour pod? It might be.
Hey, we left them hanging for 6
months.
I
was thinking the same thing. I think they'll like that.
I'm unemployed. This is my job now.
Wait, that's kind of fun.
The conversation's good. So
no, it is good. Oh man. Okay, you guys. Again, with the whole transition and stuff, I've just been thinking more internally. Again, what's it? Well, it's more than just like, what's my next thing? Because again, that performance thing, or aspect, I really, again, what's bigger questions of what am I passionate about? What's my purpose? What's my mission? And it doesn't really matter what career-wise it is, but I just want to do something that lights my soul on fire. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It makes 100% sense. Yeah.
Okay. But basically I was thinking about this and then I was brought back. Okay. Oh my gosh. There's so many avenues I could go, but let me just go back to the moment where I knew. Basically, I had a coworker call me like 3-4 weeks ago. Or actually I called her. Yes. Okay. I was like, girl, I'm having a rough day at work. Like, when did you know it was time to leave? And she was like, oh, I knew it was time to leave when I was thinking about X, Y, Z. And I was like, wait, I'm thinking those same thoughts. And so I was picking her brain, whatever. And she was like, wait, Kay, I'm sorry to change subjects, but can I ask you something? And I was like, of course. And she was like, if God loves me, then why did he allow what happened in my childhood to happen? Mm-hmm. And girl, this was like a Wednesday morning at like 9 a.m. And I was like, wow, like that's a big question.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in Texas serving on the porch, and a part of their we had 11 weeks of training, and it was intense, but also, man, that season was so fruitful because we talked about kind of gray questions like this. Mm-hmm. Or just like natural questions. I've asked that too. I'm like, God, if you're so good, like, yeah, why do you allow certain things to happen? Mm-hmm. So then we just like unpack that for 20 minutes, and I try to encourage her. Of course, I do not have all the answers at all, mm-hmm. but just like having that dialogue for even 20 minutes, again, my heart was like racing, and I was like, I want to be having more conversations like this.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about it more. And the last time I felt like that was when we used to work together. And y'all, Lory would come in my office. We would talk for hours. We did not work. Let me tell you something.
Kaylin being fired was justified.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I'm crying. Listen, I got all my to-do list done, okay?
No, same.
I was efficient.
No, there were times where I didn't get to my desk till like 9.
No,
like
for real. For real. Anyway, so we would just like chit-chat. But we wouldn't chit-chat about like dumb stuff. We would talk about this stuff, like heart-to-heart stuff. And like hard questions and like
what we talk about on the pod. Like that's why we started this podcast, is just we can have our normal conversations but recorded.
100%. So then again, that was lights my soul on fire, those conversations. And then we started the podcast, and then this podcast, oh my gosh, if I could do this for a full-time job, please people help us make it happen. It would be incredible.
Leave us a review.
No, honestly. And then I started thinking about that more, and I brought that to my therapist, and I was like, man, I just want to have these conversations all the time. And then kind of the third instance was my other coworker. She came up to my desk, and she looked at me, and she had tears in her eyes. She was like, parking lot. And I was like, okay. So we get up and we go to the parking lot, and she just starts crying. And I was like, what's wrong? And she's like, I just found out one of my friends has cancer. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. So we're in the parking lot, and I'm just like trying to console her, trying to comfort her. And again, I feel my heart on fire. I'm like, I want to do this forever. Like, this is awesome. And I'm not, again, saying anything magical or anything.
She wants to be a professional tea sipper.
She just wants that. No, it's not even the tea. It's just helping someone getting from point A to point B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like feeling like the end of the world or these bigger questions, and then helping them, again, not solving all their problems, but helping people have the confidence to take the next step, I guess. So I was like, man, if I could do that for my whole life, that'd be amazing. So then I'm talking to my therapist, and she's like, Kaylin, that's what I do. Mm-hmm. Like, I do that with counseling. I'm like, no, duh. Like, that is exactly what I need to be doing. Mm-hmm. So long story longer, I'm thinking about going back to school, but I'm still in the, planning stages.
Thinking about it?
Yeah.
Or planning?
I'm thinking about it. I'm praying about it. That's another thing. I was talking to Kai. I talked to him initially, and then I kind of followed up with him this week. I was like, babe, I think I want to go back to school in August. And he was like, wait, really? And I was like, yeah. He's like, that's a big decision. And I was like, yeah, it is. But also, what the heck else am I going to be doing? Mm-hmm. And he would just remind me of like, hey, that's a big investment. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. I guess my big thing right now is like, okay, is it worth it to go back to school? And also, what is my alternative? You know?
Yeah, what is the alternative?
I don't know.
Doing a job you hate?
No, that's the alternative. Yeah. And so I'm just like, I don't like what I'm doing. This thing that I think I see another path, I see another mountain that I want to climb. And that sounds more, or that feels more exciting. It feels right. Yeah. And so I don't know, with school, it would be 4 years of school. So it's a long road ahead. Again, big investment. It's not cheap. And it's like, dang, okay, what if I change my mind halfway through? But in my head, I'm like, so what? I don't know. That's kind of like, I don't know. When people kind of say like, oh, I went to school, but didn't finish and now I'm doing this. I feel like that's just life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's what we both did.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is just life, at least thus far.
Yeah. I don't know. And the only way I could see myself like pausing that path or like taking a break from school is if I have a family, like, you know, building my family, or if something else came up that was better, that would still set my soul on fire, but in a different way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I get you. Oh, I completely get you.
Yeah. So I'm definitely still praying about it, but also, again, I'm up against that question of like, okay, well, if not this path, then what else? And that's something I need to ask the Lord too, because maybe he is trying to show me something with me looking
just
at going back
around.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
Well, you would be an incredible counselor.
You're so sweet, Lory.
Yeah, well, that's how it feels whenever we podcast. Like, I don't know about you.
Oh my gosh, same to you. Even when because you were pondering about going back to school for counseling too.
Yeah, last year I almost pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
so whenever you told me, I was, because you just told me on Sunday, like, I was like, I'm like, of course you are. But because we're cut from the same cloth.
Like, yeah, we know literally we're the same person.
So I can't tell you how much I get you. Like, if like the time and the money were no issue at all, 100% just do it. But it's such a hard thing because time and money are
a lot.
Investment.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But then again, I just always bump up to that question. I'm like, okay, do I keep going down the path just because it's comfortable? Like, okay, it's just a job. Yeah. Or do I do something that is more connected to, I think, what the Lord put in me as a gift is like connecting with people and talking. I'm a good talker. I love to talk.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, but seriously. So I don't know. That's kind of the journey I'm on right now.
That's exciting.
Is just figuring that out. Yeah. And who knows, even if August comes and goes and I don't decide to go back to school, I have peace knowing that if it's meant to be, it'll come back around.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
So we'll see. Because, I mean, my counselor did point out, she's like, you know, it's possible that you could be going through a personal life transition soon.
And maybe a couple.
Like, honestly,
you don't know,
I don't know. Yeah. Like maybe the Lord is, you know, hey, this job is not forever, but also like you're going to go through all these personal transitions too.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, how many transitions do I got in me?
Yeah.
But also life is full of, that's what life is. That's an epiphany I had earlier, like this
life is
month.
Just transitions.
Yeah. Cause I looked at my counselor, I was like, does it ever stop?
Yeah.
Because I feel like every time we get on here too, it's like,
I want to keep talking, but I know this has been overnight.
I forgot you're editing.
But you saying that about the transitions, I'm like, this is literally
wait, should we talk about that later?
Conversation that Brandon and I, or pillow talk conversation
really?
Brandon and I had last night. But yeah, it's so interesting.
It is interesting.
Just like hopping from one transition to the
no,
next.
it never ever stops.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But also I used to be, or I think I'm still working through letting go of control and just letting it happen. Because I'm very much the person of like, well, why does it have to change?
Yeah, and
like,
see, that's a aspect of not being feminine. Like that's a masculine trait to be like, no, I need control. I need to be able to, like, this is where I'm at and this is where I want to be and I'm not letting this go, like not being able to just let it flow.
Dang. No, I'm like, crap, is going back to school just another laid out thing? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I see what you mean. I don't know.
Back
No,
to the
because
prayer closet. I go.
I think like letting it flow, like letting yourself have the thoughts, letting yourself
Yes.
look into it, letting what happens happen.
That's true.
So no, I think
Yeah.
you know, you have to search like where this is coming from. Like, is it a feeling
Yeah.
of expansion, or is it like a I feel tight and constricted, like I have to do this. You know.
Yeah.
But
I
I
have
don't know.
so many
Maybe we
thoughts.
should go to school together.
Please.
I would love it so much.
Class of 20.
Ew, 28? 2028?
Potentially 2029.
You're like, no, it's just 2029.
He said, well, the guy I spoke to said 3 to 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
With no breaks, it's 3 years. That's crazy,
Yeah.
but I think it's worth it. Anyway, do we want to do a fun question, or do you want to stop it here?
Yeah, let's do a fun question.
Okay.
What?
Wait, okay. I think we all have different opinions about this.
Okay.
Okay, so when it comes to engagements,
Mm-hmm.
I see kind of 2 things happen. One is like more, I don't know how to explain this. Like, okay. Are you the type of girly that when you're getting proposed to, you would like your friends and family involved and kind of like the guy getting a photographer, kind of like a more
curated?
Yes. Or there's another camp where it's just like kind of more organic, spontaneous, and it's just you two, no photographer in sight. Your friends and family find out via phone call.
Yeah.
Kind of more spontaneous. Well, obviously the guy planning it, yes, he obviously knows. But do you know what I'm trying to ask?
I do completely know what you're trying to ask.
Yeah.
So
when is it too much? Like, when is the curation too overdone?
Like, is skywriting too curated and like having all your friends and family there?
Like the pressure to have like
a grandiose
proposal. Yes.
But you're asking my opinion.
I am asking your opinion
Yeah.
because Kai and I kind of differ on this camp.
Ooh.
Yeah. This came up this
Ooh.
week.
Is Kay a more curated girl, or is she a more like intimate experience?
Is she?
Yeah. I think that you're a more curated girl.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, let me preface this. My, I guess, dream proposal.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really thought about it until dating Kai, honestly, since we've been talking about it. But if I could have, I have 2 asks.
Mm-hmm.
One is we have a photographer.
Really?
Because I want those memories.
Got it.
I'm not even talking about social media. Like, I don't care about posting or anything. I just want so my mom and dad, their engagement was so cute. My dad, you know, the Parent Trap, they were on like a ferry boat, like a cruise ship thing. It's not
a little
big
yacht or
a little boat dinner. Anyway, my dad took my mom to on those, and my mom looks so beautiful. Anyway, and then he put her ring in like the champagne glass or something like that.
Classic.
So cute.
Yeah.
But he planned everything, like, you know, the car, the boat, the dinner, everything. He put effort in. But there was they only have 1 picture. And it's a good picture. But my mom was like, man, if I could go back, I would want more pictures. You know what I mean? For the memories. So I have that. And then me personally, I would love it if after that moment with me and Kai and then the guy or gal taking pictures, we go back to either my parents' house or just like some area, and all of our friends and family are there to celebrate. I think that would be so fun.
Hop right into an engagement party.
Yeah,
type thing.
like a nice celebration.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 things.
Yeah.
And then Kai, he was like, wait, so if I just proposed and there was no photographer, would you say no? And I was like, no, I wouldn't say no.
I think that would be ideal, and for the sake of the memories, amazing.
Yeah.
But as long as you are the type of person that you won't like let the pictures and like knowing that the photographer is there get in the way of the moment, because
that's true.
You know what I mean? Like like you're getting proposed to and it's you and your guy and it's this incredible moment. Like that's a bonding moment, honestly.
That's true.
And like, are you now turning your focus away from the bond to like the freaking pictures, like,
that's
and
what,
the photographer?
I think that's what he was saying too, because he was like, babe, I think you're, again, we know each other well enough to where we can talk to each other like this, but he was saying like, I think you're getting wrapped up in like the show of it all, and not focusing on like the moment. And honestly, I pondered on that and I was like, man, is that true? Or is it like, yes, I'm in the camp of like memories. I'm such a memory girl. And also I do want to be in the moment with just him and I.
Do you need a professional photographer? Or like, because whenever Brandon proposed to me, he just had like his phone in the corner of the room somewhere, like filming us.
That's what Kai said too. Kai was like, I can prop up my phone. I was like, Mom, prop up my phone.
Hey, it was good enough for me, Kaylin.
But also, it really. Okay, but also there's this angle. You plan for things you care about, and you do the most for things you care about, right? Like if it's such a special moment,
to be planned.
Yeah, if it's such a special moment, wouldn't you want to do the most for that moment?
Yeah, but does the most have to include a photographer?
I do want those memories. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. This is something that
like the professional photographer. Like if he does this incredible setup, he planned. There's fireworks. There's a fairy. There's a violin player. There's the perfect ring.
I don't need that.
Okay.
Like for me, I don't care how he does it. He could propose
but that's
to
not
me.
Planning. So then you do care about the show. Like it's just about the show.
No,
you just said
about the show.
You just said that you plan for the things you care about. So, but you don't care about how he proposes.
Yeah, I don't care about how it's done. But just the act of him proposing, I think that speaks volumes.
Then explain what you said about planning for the things you care about.
I mean, like the thoughtfulness, like
of the photographer.
I think that's a thoughtful detail.
But that's the only detail that you're saying you care about.
That's not true. I want my friends there too, and family after. I feel like those are details. I feel like every girl is different, but I'm saying like, I don't know. It
just seems like you know what you want. Like you don't care about if there's a hot air balloon or a fairy or a violin player, flowers. Like you just want the photographer and you want your friends there.
Yeah.
Your family.
And is that so bad?
No, that's just what you want.
Yeah. Does it take the main focus away? I don't know.
You have an expectation, and expectation is the killer of joy. So
yeah, I mean, well, I did express my expectation,
but that's the thing. Like, if you expressed your expectation, and that's truly what you want, then.
But now I'm second guessing myself. I'm like, crap, is that what I truly want? But then, man, like, let's play. Not. I was gonna say devil's advocate. I do not like that saying. But let's look at the other side.
Jeez.
Ew, I do not like that saying.
So satanic.
I know. How dare I? Anyway,
She's
I rebuke
a witch.
that. I'm dead. So, let's look at the other side. Let's say he does prop up his phone or tripod situation, and I don't know, the wind blows and there's a smudge. It's not recording. And then that's lost. And then, yes, because his point was, well, we'll remember. And that's true. But also, I do want the memories in a form of a picture.
Okay, this will answer it. If there's a photographer.
Yes.
But you are in sweats and you do not look cute.
Ugh.
Would you still want the photographer? Or is it just about the show? And the Instagram.
I don't know. I don't care about Instagram. I literally just
or maybe not Instagram, but you know what I mean. Like oh, look at our cute pictures. Like, is it about you looking cute and like, look at, we got engaged? Like, is it about that?
I just want to show our kids.
Then it shouldn't matter if you're just like in
sweats, yeah,
in grunge clothes, right?
I feel you. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I did say like my nails need to be done. Yeah. Maybe all that stuff is getting to my head. Because you're right. And he's right too. It really shouldn't matter.
I see what you mean, though. Like, it's hard to get away from being a woman. Like, we want all those cute pictures and, like...
But I don't know. Is it I think it's different for each girly girl. But maybe I am being influenced by social media.
So one time I helped with one of these, like, covert proposals.
Yeah.
So, like, we went out to the desert. We put all these candles, like, leading up to, like, this little space with roses and all this crap. But it was, like, in the evening. So we were hidden in the bushes and, like, someone was taking pictures. I don't remember if it was a photographer or if it was just someone taking pictures. But whenever the cameras started flashing, because, like, if it's professional pictures, like, there's going to be a flash or there's going to be a sound or whatever. Like, he was trying to make it, like, as intimate as possible so that we weren't seen. But as soon as those cameras started going, we immediately saw them look, because it took away from the moment.
Now that I'm replaying, like, I'm thinking about my friends' engagements and they didn't have any of that. I'm thinking about my brother. He just propped up his phone.
Yeah, and Brandon just propped up his phone.
Yeah, and then my sister, I think she has a friend who's a photographer.
Yeah.
So she was, like, nearby taking pictures, I'm pretty sure. But yeah.
And, you know, I really like the old school family home video style. So we were at Brandon's parents' house. We were watching their old family videos. And I'm like, dang, I want to get a video camera.
Yeah.
And Brandon's like, just use your phone. And I'm like, no, I want, like, a video camera.
Yes. Like the date stamp on the corner.
Yeah, the date stamp. And then also, like, you're filming that whatever is going on is going on. Like, you're not turning off your camera every 10 seconds whenever there's no longer something big going on. Like, it's true. It's so raw, and it's like you're there, you know what I mean? Versus like the videos that we take, it's literally just 10 seconds. But whenever there's some pretty tree in Vienna, or like this beautiful building, or like we smile and then it's done. You know what I mean? But like I don't know, like I miss the feeling of like watching a family video.
That's true.
Like, it's more like a movie than just like, oh, here's the highlight. Like, I'm done with the highlights, kind of. Or I'm not done with it. I'm being dramatic. Like,
no, I know what you're talking about.
I'm being a pick-me, but...
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, I completely changed my opinion now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow!
Well, with the picture things. I do still want like an engagement celebration with our friends and family. I think that'd be so fun. Yeah. But yeah, I guess I am...
Like, does that make sense? I would rather have like a family home video of like my parents getting proposed to than just like the 15-second highlight.
That's true.
Like, not that I don't care about it, but it's just, again, so curated. Like, we're so part of this society. It's like, let me see like the most grandiose, to where now, like, if we see the most beautiful picture and the most beautiful person, like, we just scroll by, because it's like we're just so dopamine dependent.
No, you're so right. And then also, sorry, I'm like thinking about literally all the people I know that got engaged recently. There's this one video. It's so cute, Lory. So my friend, or my teammate I used to cheer with, she's like walking on the beach, and her fiance has the ring, and he's filming on his phone. So he's filming her walking in front of him. And then, so he's behind her and he has the ring. And then all of a sudden, he's holding the camera too. Very skilled. And then all of a sudden you see her turn or he goes like, hey babe, look. And then he drops down to one knee and you see her reaction turning around. She's like so stunned. Yeah. And he's like, will you marry me? Like, no speech or anything. It's just one question. And you just see her drop down to her knees and she starts crying and she says yes. And it is the sweetest video ever.
I believe it.
I completely changed my opinion. I just needed to verbally process it.
Yeah. Such a verbal processor.
I really am.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad Kai said that to me, because it's true.
How wholesome.
I know. I want a wholesome engagement. I do.
I don't want to be a curated bitch anymore.
No, my nails are not done. I'm ready to be engaged. But it's so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
you guys do family home videos? I don't want to get on this tangent, but I'm just curious.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, we
such a vibe,
bro.
To
yes.
Go watch those.
I literally have this video of me as a baby, like on the edge of a table, like bouncing to the music, and that's how my mom knew, like, oh, she likes to dance or whatever, just based off that one video. And then we have this like one. All of our siblings, we did a ballet production of Peter Pan at some church. It's so funny. My brothers are in tights. It's hysterical.
Oh my gosh.
No, I love home videos.
Yeah. But isn't it just so interesting? Like, because as we're watching these home videos, like, it just goes on forever. Like, they don't turn off the camera. So, like, if they're doing nothing or there's a lull, it's still so interesting. And you just, like, what are they going to do now? And they're not doing anything.
I know.
But now, like,
and
if
it's
there's
so
a lull,
organic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so fun. Like, I don't know.
Why is the mundane fun?
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway,
maybe that's the soul pondering question we'll
end
leave
on
people with. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, wait. I love that we were able to talk through that because I was like, okay, you're gonna tell me that Kai's wrong.
No, not I.
There's no right and wrong though.
Yeah, it
not. Just depends on the girl, and I think
I'm curious to know what your other friends say.
I know.
And again, like, yes, there's no right or wrong. Like, you don't need to, if you go change your opinion again and you want a photographer, like, you do not need to justify that.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I do like I think that's so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes less is more.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, on that note.
All right, y'all. Chat soon.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.